So let's get your reaction as a shareholder. We got the stock down about edging lowered about 0.4% in the after hours. Of course, waiting for the call. As a shareholder, Ross, giving me the instant reaction analysis. What do you make of this report?
Yeah, I mean, it's garbage. I mean, it's sad and depressing to me that this is a business in decline when it should be, it's in a growing industry, but it has great products and it should be a growing business, and it's not. And now, if you take out the regulatory credits, they're cash flow negative. They're basically cash flow break even with the regulatory credits. And the regulatory credits are going down every quarter, and they're going to be gone soon. And the prices are going up on the vehicles soon. So I'm just like, man, this sucks. And when you look at Cybertruck and Model S and X, sales are down 54% for their high-end vehicles. And their newest vehicle, which was supposed to be like this great truck, which I actually like, but they don't do anything to sell. And so there's no doubt in my mind that if they don't rectify the fact that it doesn't matter how many products you come up with, if people don't want to buy them, it's a problem, and they just don't seem to want to address that issue.
Now, bulls on this name, Ross. We've got financial analysts on. They got a buy on this one. You asked them to explain that outperform. In part, when I asked them about that core EV business and listen, it's EVs that are still driving the P&L here.
That's right.
They predict better days ahead, and they'll say, listen, look at that revamped Model Y and watch for, they say, that new affordable model on the way. It's better days ahead in 26 with those deliveries. What do you say to that argument?
I think that there's no doubt in my mind that Tesla needs an affordable, low-cost, small vehicle for the emerging markets and the United States if they're going to be competitive globally. This should have happened before Robotaxi, and it didn't because Elon decided for it not to happen because it was more important for him to launch Robotaxi. But there's no doubt in my mind if sales are going to improve, it's going to have to come from a new model that's lower priced. And supposedly this is happening, but if it's just a small Model Y, I just don't think you add incremental sales. You're going to lose, you're going to cannibalize more of your business. So what I'm also concerned about is even if they came out with a golden car that flew, that people wouldn't buy it because it's Elon Musk's car. And until somebody wants to address that Elon's political, not just opinions, but his actual behavior in public is just super inappropriate and turns off basically everybody now. Like, at what point is anybody going to address the elephant in the room, which is Elon? And it's like, if he wants to fix the image of himself and Tesla, that will improve sales. And so maybe in a year things get better. But if he doesn't change the way he's acting, I don't see how anything gets better.
Ross, talking about Musk, listen, there were investors, and we had them on the show, and analysts who were saying, listen, they weren't happy with his big move into politics, and they felt like, listen, he needs to get back to work full time. He needs to be focused on Tesla. Now it sounds like he is focused, he is committed. We have analysts on the street saying, listen, this is it, he's back. It's I think they use the word, it's wartime CEO now. As a shareholder, how do you feel about that? Is that is that a benefit? Is that an advantage to have a refocused Musk back in charge, back in the seat and back in charge of product?
Well, if you go backwards, this is what I've been calling for some time, that the CEO of the company should actually work at the company. And the fact that he's back is great news for Tesla, for sure. And the fact he's in wartime mode, although that sounds great, it's actually because Tesla's in a crisis. And that's actually when Elon works the best. Sadly, it takes a horrible crisis to get the best out of Elon. And so maybe we'll get that this time. I don't know how many, rabbits he can pull out of a hat, but I wouldn't bet against Elon. And I certainly have never bet against Elon in my career and would never recommend you bet against Elon. And I'm long the stock still. But it doesn't change the fact that probably the best thing you can do is work at Tesla and never tweet again and never say anything again. And in a year, I think Tesla would be fixed. But the working at Tesla is one big portion of repairing a lot of the issues Tesla has, but it doesn't change their image problem. It doesn't change the fight with Trump that he continues to stoke that will come back to haunt him for sure. And it certainly doesn't change the fact that liberals across the world absolutely hate him and look at him as the symbol of everything that's wrong. And until he wants to address that, I still think it's going to be hard for Tesla to grow.
As a shareholder, Ross, are you interested in seeing Tesla and xAI combined? Because Musk will say, listen, this is not an EV company, this is an AI company. Would such a combination make sense to you as a shareholder?
Well, I think that's what's going to end up happening, whether I like it or not, because it's really sort of Elon's grand plan to get full control of Tesla would be to have Tesla make an all-stock offer for xAI, which he majority controls. xAI should have never been started. It should have been Tesla. It should have all been inside Tesla. So the fact they've got a $100 billion company that they build outside of Tesla just to help Elon eventually regain control of Tesla, it's just, I don't know how to call it. It is what it is. That said, I think that's what ultimately will be, unless Elon really sees the value of not being in a public company environment, which I think he does see that value. So that would be the only thing that would preclude Tesla buying xAI. But sadly, I think Tesla shareholders are going to vastly overpay for xAI, and they need the cash out of Tesla's balance sheet for xAI to grow. So I think this is going to happen, and it's just a matter of time.
I want to squeeze one last one in here, Ross. Spoke to another investor on the show. Their excitement, their enthusiasm, Ross, it's all about, for them, the Robotaxi service. Do you share that enthusiasm?
Well, I don't know about you, but every time I take a Uber or a Waymo, I'm going from A to B. What is so exciting about a business that's been around for a long time? The fact that a human isn't driving and it's a robot is nice. Like, I like Waymo a lot, and Waymo's doing a great job, and I prefer it over Uber. They really have done a great job, but does this really expand the market for ride sharing? I don't see it really. And then ride sharing as a business is already super competitive between Uber, Lyft, and now Waymo. And ride sharing doesn't work in every city. So I just don't, even in the best case scenario, this is a tough business to get in and to win when you already have robo-taxis on the road from a competitor like Google that has unlimited resources. And you can see the strain on the balance sheet right now with CapEx spending and free cash flow going down to basically zero, and CapEx spending going higher and higher. That's what's going to happen with Tesla on the short term, is CapEx spending goes up and up, but the revenue doesn't come for years. It took 8 years or something plus for Uber to be profitable. And, this is a long-term bet for Tesla and at best for a low margin business. So I'm not that excited about robo-taxis. I don't see what's so great about it. I get in a Waymo, it takes me from A to B, cost me $20, big deal.
Ross, always good to see you. Always great to have you on the show. Thank you, my friend.